explain the midterm project and the final project. Basically, they are the same type of assignment. It's just different time periods. So the first thing I want to show you is in week 1, what I'm doing is I'm giving you a heads up right here that the midterm is due. So I'm telling you from day 1. Midterm project is due March 7th. Now, just to kind of explain what also I've done here. So if I go to, say, let's go to week 3 here. Nope, let's go to week 4. Week 4. So what I've got here is you have a quiz, reading, and so on, but then you have this assignment right here. It says complete the Middle Ages section of your midterm project. And basically, there's nothing to turn in here. I just put the rubric again. Nothing to turn in here. But at this point, by week 4, we will have completed the Middle Ages section of this course. And you should be able to at least do that section of the PowerPoint. So nothing to turn in, but I'm just trying to kind of space it out for you. So then when the project's actually due, you're not doing it all at one time. Just do it a little bit at a time. And then I believe I've got, say, like in week 6, I'm not sure, I think I've got it in, complete the Baroque section of your midterm project. Again, nothing to turn in. It's just use that kind of as a timeline. So at this point, I should have this done because at this point, we will have finished the Baroque period in the course. So, but the actual assignment is due in week 8. And this is where you're also submit it. Okay, so what you're going to be doing is you're going to be creating a 20 to 30 slide PowerPoint showing the development of Western music from the Middle Ages to the Baroque period. What I want you to do is think of this as if you were teaching someone else what you've learned so far in this course. You're going to do a minimum of 6 slides per time period. And you're going to include a few things. You're going to include major historical and or cultural events outside of music. And I'm going to show you an example here in just a minute. Major works of art and or literature of each time period. 2 pieces of music, meaning you include a video and a link. Same link for that video, because sometimes when I receive these, I can't open the video. So if you have the link, I can at least open the links. And I do open them. I check to see what you've posted. So for that time period. Also 2 composers for that time period. And then the other thing is stylistic features of that time period. So just kind of going through this is the rubric. This is how I'm going to grade things. And I've kind of broken it down to, exact number of points for each thing. So the first thing is number of slides. You get 10 points for the correct number of slides. And I will say title slides do not count. So remember, I'm looking for a minimum of 20 slides. So if you have 20 slides, but 3 of those slides are title slides, like it says Baroque period, Middle Ages, I am not counting those. It has to actually be instructive information. So make sure that you're not including title slides in the final count. Organization, I'm expecting it to be neat, grammatically correct, citations, so on. Historical and cultural events, I'm looking for at least 3 historical and or cultural events outside of music and briefly described. Do not just do a list of things that happened in that time period. Actually describe them briefly. Major works of art and or literature, at least 3. This is outside of music. Again, briefly described. Don't just write me a list. Briefly describe it. And of course, you're going to include images. Like I said, make this interesting and instructive. If you are referring to a piece of art, then put the image of the piece of art. Musical examples, at least 2. Make sure that it is specifically described and not just a general description of music of the time period. Make sure that piece that you are including is specifically described. And if you're using terminology that a person that hasn't gone through this course would not know, make sure you define the terminology as well. Composers, at least 2 composers for each time period. Include birthplace and at least 3 facts about the composer, and also what type of music was that composer known for. And then the last thing is important style features, at least 2 style features per time period. And I find that this is the part that a lot of people forget to do. So for example, if you're talking about the Renaissance, you might want to talk about madrigals. If you're in the Baroque period, you might talk about oratorios. So you're just taking something that was specific to that time period and then just briefly describing it. Okay, so let me just kind of show you an example of one that I've gotten before. So we start with the Middle Ages, and what this person did is they did a list of historical and cultural events, but it is briefly described. I only want 3. They gave me 4, no problem. They also went into major works of art, and so they gave me the titles and then described them, and then they actually included the images. Now, this slide really wasn't necessary. If you just wanted to just include each work of art with an explanation, that's totally fine. And this person actually went above and beyond and included works of literature, which you didn't have to do, but that's fine. It could be a mixture of art and literature. Then they went into 2 different composers. They gave the information about the composers. So, and then when they did their musical examples, they just used the same composers. So that just makes sense to just go ahead and use the same composers so you're not talking about something totally different. So there's 2 musical examples referring back to these composers. Now, what this person did, which is okay to do, but I kind of prefer it to be done a little bit differently, is they included the information about style features within the composers, what the composers were kind of known for, which was also a style feature of that time period, which is fine. It's just, you know, when you're thinking about doing this, definitely look at the rubric, follow the rubric, and just make sure that you have everything in there that I'm asking for, and just kind of make it easy to find. That just kind of ensures that you've checked all the boxes, basically. So going back to this. And so then, whoops. So then you, oh my goodness, there we go. Go back to this, and then they went into the Renaissance period, and then they went into the Baroque period, and just kind of followed the same format. And then now what I want you to do with all your citations, it does not have to be an MLA, APA. Just tell me what slide it was from and then give me the references of where you got the information. So slide number 7 or whatever, you got the information from this particular place. Okay. Now, for your final, the final is going to be due at the very end of the semester, and that's going to be in the last week, week 15, and you will turn it in right here. Here's your final project. It is the same exact project, same exact rubric, except it's different time periods. Instead of the Middle Ages, Renaissance, and Baroque, it's classical, romantic, and 20th century. And basically what I've had you do is you can stop it at 1945, but if you want to include stuff that's a lot more modern, that's totally fine as well. So that is the midterm and final project. One is going to be due on March 7th. The other one is going to be due March 3rd. And the one that's due on March 3rd, that is your final. There is no final exam. The project is your final. All right, hopefully that answers any questions. But if you do have any other questions, just let me know.